That's the longest 1 minute ever. When I testify at council, 3 minutes goes by like that. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage the Mayor of Maui County, the Honorable Mayor Alan M. Arakawa, for his State of the County Address.
Thank you very much. You know, we were joking backstage. Sit down, everybody. We were joking backstage about being really nervous. I'm supposed to deliver the address. Keith's the nervous one. Aloha and good evening. And thank you all for being here tonight. You know, this is the 12th State of the County address that I'll be doing, and it's possibly the last one. So I really appreciate all of you being here. And for Mayor Bernard, you've been here for every single State of the County address I've had in this last 2 terms. So thank you very much for flying all the way over from Kauai for this. I would like to welcome the County Council members, including Council Chair Mike White, County Clerk Danny Mateo, our department directors and deputies, Mayor's Office staff, and the many county employees. You know, without the county employees, the 2,600 county employees we have, we couldn't do many of the projects. So I really do want to thank all of our county employees in advance. When we talk about projects that we need to do, they're a very integral part of making sure that everything gets accomplished. The mayor does not put the asphalt in the hole. The mayor does not go out and fix the pipes. It's the county employees doing the work day to day that really make it work. It's been a real honor to serve with you. I want to thank everyone for their hard work and for allowing me to lead this county for the last 7 years. To our state representatives and senators, I thank you very much for working with us to get the funds that we need and for the projects that you've funded throughout Maui County to help us move forward. Thank you very much. To the rest of our audience and those of you that are watching at home, this live broadcast on Akaku Television, thank you very much for tuning in. Today, I am confident in saying that the state of Maui County is more than just good. The state of Maui County, as it stands right now, it's stable, secure, resilient, and strong. I know typically you use only one word to describe the state of the county, but there's a good reason for every word selected. We are financially stable. Once again, we received the coveted AA+ bond rating, which is practically the gold standard for government and the best in the state. This is the best rating the county has ever had, and we continue to maintain it. We are environmentally secure because we have purchased or placed into open space a majority of our shorelines to keep it safe from development. Our beaches are for everyone, and steadily we have taken steps to make sure it stays open to all, not just a few. We're economically resilient. Recessions come and go, and still our visitor-based economy comes roaring back. Once again, we've had another record-breaking year for tourism, and our latest unemployment numbers are below 2%. We are strong because our communities work side by side to get things done. We see something that needs to be accomplished, and we have the will and the tenacity to see it through. We don't give up easily. It's that strength, the strength of our people, which has propelled this county forward and will continue to propel this community into the future. The only question is, in what direction? In my lifetime, the population of Maui County has grown from fewer than 35,000 to more than 165,000 people. There are more than 66,000 tourists here on a daily basis, which means that somewhere around 230,000 plus people are on the island at any given time. That's a lot of people to watch out for, to care for, who are using our resources and infrastructure. What do we want our communities to be like for future generations? We can pretend we're too busy to deal with it and that it's not happening. Like ostriches, we can bury our heads in the sand. Or we can deal with the challenges realistically. This administration will continue to move forward. That means addressing issues and challenges head on and looking for and implementing solutions. We will continue to improving and maintaining our infrastructure. We will keep protecting our shorelines, finding new ways to recycle and use wastewater, promoting the collection, storage, and use of more renewable energy, expanding sustainable agriculture, creating more affordable housing, and reducing homelessness. We'll continue to improve our economy. Throughout the years, we have worked on thousands of projects and have always been consistent in these areas, and we will continue to do so. We don't intend to slow down. So let's go over some of these projects and initiatives, as well as take note of what has already been accomplished. Public Works. Our Department of Public Works has put in many, many hours improving our roads, bridges, culverts, crosswalks, traffic signals over the years. When we got into office, we'd been falling behind our road repairs. There are potholes every place. But have managed to catch up dramatically and have since paved, rebuilt, or slurry sealed about 40% of the county's 1,000 road lane miles. The council has enabled us to do this by approving more funds, but our road crews have also made the most of their resources. For example, the slurry seal they're using increases road life by about 10 years. Very cost efficient. The department has also been able to reconstruct some roads from the ground up, such as Kokomo, Hanson, Kamehameha, Lono, Papa, and Haile Maile, thanks to federal funds, which pay up to 80% for these projects. This year, Public Works crews are busy once again. They literally had projects from one end of the island to the other. From Kahakaloa, where they prevented a portion of Kahekili Highway from sliding down the mountain, to Kipahulu, where crews are trying to prevent the mountain from collapsing on Piilani Highway. Along the way, they have been working on repairing Kakuloa Bridge, the Waikoa drainage under the South Kihei Road, and many other drainage and bridge projects. Public Works was also instrumental in working with the U.S. Corps of Army Engineers to restabilize the Wailuku River after the flood hit in 2016. The work they did to improve Wailuku River flood control will have benefits for years to come. In fact, anytime there's a flood, we see examples of how flood control protects families from ER Parkside and businesses in Wailuku Industrial. If the deficiency in the flood control had not been corrected, we could have seen the same damage from EL Valley in a much more populated area. Just recently, we saw examples of flash flood causing damage to more than a dozen properties in Waihe and Kahakuloa. Thankfully, there were no injuries. Protesters can say what they want, but if we had listened to them and stopped work, residents living along the Wailuku River could have lost their homes, possibly even their lives. Public safety is a serious matter and should not be debated just to promote political agendas or to provide social commentary. Public safety is also the heart of the debate to install a roundabout at the intersection of Kamehameha Avenue and Mauilani Parkway. Currently, there is some debate among area parents as to what is safer for school children walking or riding bikes through that intersection, a roundabout or a traffic light. There really is no debate. Roundabouts are safer, period. About 90% less fatalities happen in roundabouts. Public Works has the statistics to back this up. We introduced a request to fund Maui Lani Roundabout previously, and we will continue to pursue this project because it will ease traffic in the area and provide a safe crossing zone for kids. More pedestrian safety projects include retrofitting all of our street lights. These new, very efficient, environmentally sensitive light bulbs will replace old lights that we have in 5,000 county street lights on all 3 islands. But they will also save taxpayers about $1 million a year. Of course, this will require the council to approve the continued funding of this project in our upcoming budget. We're also looking at different ways to build safer crosswalks, crossing signals, and maybe install more concrete medians. Water supply. When it comes to cleaning, delivering, and conserving our water resources, every project is an important one. We've had several large-scale projects that have either improved water quality or made the delivery of water to our customers more efficient. The reconstruction of the Waikamoe flume was an important project as any out there. Due to the weather conditions of the old redwood flume, we were losing thousands of gallons a week. Replacing that old flume with an aluminum one and capturing and recapturing all that lost water was a priority. And we made sure to complete that project early on. Right now, one of the department's priorities is to finish the construction of the Iao water treatment facility. This facility is almost complete, and once it is up and running, it will be able to process an extra 1.5 million gallons a day. Along the way, we have built more storage tanks, pump station, wells, and other critical pieces of the puzzle that make up our county water system. We want to bolster that system by absorbing the Wailuku Water Company's infrastructure and water resources, a proposal before the council to assess the assets of the Wailuku Water Company so we can buy its 8,764 acres of land. The asking price is $9.5 million. We need to take this private resource and make it public. This is good for our customers, Kuleana users, cultural heritage protection, and overall good for conservation of our watershed. Currently, we are talking to the state about getting their interest in the East Maui irrigation system, which would allow us to use the EMI ditch right of way to transport water into central Maui without having to spend millions of dollars in creating a new route and having to face new environmental challenges. We need to complete this agreement as soon as possible. The Water Department is also studying the possibility of converting what was to have been the dual agricultural irrigation system up in Kula, from Waikamoe to the upcountry area, to help relieve the old lines there, and which will provide extra capacity for the upcountry area and service distribution to the upcountry area. Environmental management. The Department of Environmental Management is looking at possible alternatives to reuse our recycled water effluent so that we no longer have to waste this valuable resource. Maui County's recycled water is clean enough to be used for irrigation landscape, agriculture, forest reserves, biocrops, and much more. This is possible because our wastewater goes through treatment process. Our R1 treatment includes membrane filtration, ultraviolet disinfection, and chlorination. In Maui County, we use recycled water at more locations than any other island, and this includes Ka'anapali, Maui Nui, Pukalani, the Manele Golf Course, as well as Kihei Elementary, Lokilani Intermediate Schools. There are also a number of parks, bikeways, resorts, condominiums, community centers, shopping centers, libraries, fire stations that are all using our recycled water. All told, the county annually distributes 1.3 billion gallons of recycled wastewater across all 3 islands for reuse in some form or another. That's around 3.5 million gallons a day. While that's a lot of recycled water, it's less than 30% of the wastewater treated at county facilities daily. In order to use more water, we must get aggressive and find more alternative uses. So far, we've spent $94 million on our wastewater treatment facilities to better clean our water so that it can be used for irrigation purposes. These expenditures include feasibility studies, construction of distribution systems, as well as treatment upgrades and modifications to ultraviolet and filter systems. When the county's wastewater reclamation facilities were built in the 1970s, disposal of excess recycled water in deep injection wells was advocated as much more environmentally sustainable practice than dumping raw sewage through open ocean outfalls, taking advantage of the Earth's natural filtration for groundwater as it moves seaward. Today, the county is again at the forefront of water reuse advocacy. We have many projects in the works in almost every district, and they are progressing steadily. Reuse projects include another 1 million-gallon storage tanks in Kihei and the development of a forest reserve, plant nursery, passive park in South Maui by the new police station. This should use all of the water currently going into the Kihei injection wells. If we need to reuse more water, we will work with Haleakala Ranch to expand irrigation into the pastures surrounding the project. In Lahaina, we plan to utilize high-level reservoirs that can pump and store recycled water so that we can redistribute and reuse it all. We can accomplish this in about a year. In Central Maui, we are coordinating with the State Department of Transportation Airports Division to provide them with recycled water. This includes a renewable power generation project near the Kahului Airport that will use 500 acres of biocrop as feed source. This could utilize up to 4 million gallons of recycled water daily from the Kahului Wastewater Reclamation Facility. That should essentially eliminate the daily use of the Kahului injection wells within a year. The project will hopefully be functional this year. The county is also investigating use of soil aquifer treatment basins as an advanced and environmentally sound means of disposing of any excess recycled water. In Molokai, we are working with landowners near the Kanakakai Wastewater Reclamation Facility on the potential for land application for the recycled water for agricultural irrigation use. This change in philosophy is not inexpensive. When all is said and done, the county will have spent more than $100 million in capital costs, plus many millions in annual operation and land acquisition costs in order to more fully utilize recycled water. This will make increases in sewer user and recycled water user fees necessary for the future. However, once we bear this financial liability, instead of injecting unused recycled water into wells, it will be used to help keep our community, our county, green and beautiful. The alternative is to implement deep ocean outfalls like Oahu, which is essentially dumping good, reusable water into the ocean. This is not a solution to which we subscribe. Housing and human concerns. According to the 2016 Hawaii Housing Planning Study, Maui needs to produce 13,949 units in the next 10 years to keep up with the housing demand. And these homes have to be affordable for someone making 60% or less of the average median income, which for a family of 4 in Maui is a little more than $44,000. The Department of Housing and Human Concerns, in association with Managing Director Keith Regan and the Department of Management, has done just that with the completion of the Kulamalu Affordable Homes Project upcountry. These homes provide a safe and secure place to live with a rental that is truly affordable. For example, I know a single mom of 2 who pays less than $500 a month for a Kulamalu unit. Upcountry is a little colder than what she's used to, but she says her kids love the new home. We need more projects like this, and we have more projects like this in the works. The good news is that changes to our Workforce Housing Ordinance, Chapter 2.96, has helped make it easier for construction companies to get into the business of building homes instead of more commercial structures, which has been the trend for years. There are now 7 housing projects totaling more than 1,000 units that are currently under construction in West, South, Central, and Upcountry Maui, 46% of which will be affordable housing. In addition, there are 14 pending projects that total more than 3,200 housing units, which will be 61% affordable housing. Another 13 projects are in various stages of pre-development that total over 6,000 units. So, contrary to popular belief, housing is moving forward on Maui. We just have to keep our infrastructure moving at the same pace. Under the previous restriction, workforce housing projects had been few and far between, with only three workforce housing units generated between 2008 and 2014. I would like to thank everyone who pushed forward to ease up on these restrictions, especially our county council members who recognized that things needed to change in order to meet the demand for housing. We've also made headway in our efforts to house those living on our streets and beaches. The department's new homeless program division has been tackling homeless concerns and issues head-on. And in coordination with our nonprofit social services, and when necessary, our Maui Police Department, utilizing the Housing First approach, the county has effectively identified specific needs for the homeless population to best provide the right services and prevent re-entry into homelessness. So far, this homeless coordinated entry system has helped us identify and place into housing 143 homeless families and singles just in the last 6 months. There is much more that needs to be done, for sure. But in the meantime, the Homeless Division, the Community Policing Unit, and our partners at Arakawa, the Family Life Center, and others are responding to the community as quickly as they can. They are out there in the field every week in the homeless encampments at Baldwin Beach, Keopolani Park, the Kaulu Industrial Area, and other encampments in South and West Maui, working to find solutions. In the next few weeks, we will be sending to the County Council a proposal to lease the old Maui High School property to Tri-Isle Resources Conservation Development, a 501c3 nonprofit, and a coalition of community partners. We call it Project Aloha. And the intent is to use this area to create programs to help the homeless, former inmates, and the disadvantaged. Our intent is not to simply move people from one place to the next, but to move them to an area of lesser impact to the rest of the community. This area will provide a secure and safe site that is not currently used by members of our community. Project Aloha at Old Maui High School will be a place which will allow for education and housing for members of our population that face difficult challenges. It will be much better to care for them in a peaceful environment with safe housing rather than our parks, beaches, and streets. Homelessness did not just happen overnight, and it will not end overnight. But with patient and compassionate response, we are making progress. Last year, I proposed adding $9 million a year for property acquisition to help alleviate the workforce housing, affordable housing, homeless population on Maui. The council did not support this idea and eliminated the proposal. We are planning on proposing this housing fund again this year because $700,000 median income, that's the cost of a single-family home, median cost of a single-family home, is just not affordable to anyone, and homelessness is a growing concern in our community. Parks and recreation. Back in 2012, we made a lot of promises when it came to our park. We wanted to increase active park space from what it was then, under 190 acres of park, to more than 600 acres. We wanted to improve the conditions of our restrooms, community centers, and other park facilities, and we wanted to add more specialty parks, such as dog and skateboard parks. Fast forward to 2018, and we have done just that and more. Working with the state, we added the Central Maui Regional Sports Complex to our park facilities. Thank you, Shan Tsutsui. This is 65 acres of what will be 11 designated sports fields, including softball and baseball, once the final phase is completed, and that should happen this year. We have also just recently acquired 14.4 acres of the Maui Regional Park with restrooms and a small parking lot, along with 13.1 acres in Wailuku Heights, just off Kehealani Mauka Parkway. The restrooms there are already been installed and should be open to the public sometimes next month. In Kihei, we are building the first new gymnasium in the county in the last 20 years. The South Maui Recreation Center will feature not one, but 2 full-size or 4 multi-use courts. This will provide for a variety of uses and activities that will well serve the recreational needs of South Maui community. It will be air-conditioned, and there'll be 1,200 seats for people to sit and watch the games. In Kula, we are partnering with the state and federal government to acquire 3,276 acres of the former Von Tempsky property to create Kamehamehanui Forest, a conservation park. This week, we are breaking ground on the beautifully designed upcountry skate park in Pukalani. This is located just before the upcountry pool and will be a great fit for our community center, playing fields, and other park facilities there. As part of the department's proactive approach to plan for the future of the Maui County parks, we have initiated master planning for many more parks across the islands, using input and suggestion from park users who have attended community planning meetings. This includes master planning for Kanaha Beach Park, the South Maui Community Park updates, Kepaniwai Heritage Gardens, Wells Park, Waihu Golf Course Clubhouse, and South Maui Forestry Project. And in Paia, we are master planning 25 acres next to Baldwin Park to expand that area and provide the North Shore with its own regional park. This will one day replace the brush and homeless encampments, which are currently there now, and connect Baldwin Park with Lower Paia Park. Over the last 3 years, the department has been able to focus and improve just over $23 million of deferred maintenance projects, including restrooms, upgrading parking areas, playgrounds, and other well-used facilities. In addition to these projects, the department has tackled CIP renovations, including ball field light installations, rebuilding and resurfacing the outdoor tennis and basketball courts, irrigation system installations and upgrades, ADA access improvements, and dozens of other park facility improvements. In addition to facility improvements, the beautification section of the Parks Department has completed a comprehensive overhaul of the way we approach playing fields and turf management. We are the proud owners of the best grass stadiums in the state that we renovated by our own staff and have been featured in national publications for the high quality of turf in our facilities. The community should be proud to play on some of the best county-owned and maintained fields in the nation. The department should also be commended for bringing our park permitting program into the 21st century. Park workers are now able to email finalized permits out to users, accommodate requests for any facility countywide at 5 different permit offices, and schedule the majority of fields, courts, and gym use triannually to maximize the fair and equitable distribution for county parks resources to the community. Our park enforcement section has been diligently working under the coordination of the Department of Housing and Human Concerns in addressing homeless challenges, and has taken an active role in assisting Maui Police Department with enforcement efforts throughout county facilities under the management of the Department of Parks and Recreation. For decades, we watched our population grow while our playing fields and gymnasiums got more and more crowded. The county is catching up on our parks and park facilities for our very active community. And these improvements will continue as the population grows because we have already secured or are in the process of securing the properties that will allow for the expansions needed. Planning. Our planning department probably has the toughest regulations to follow in the county. They need to plan for development while protecting our resources. They need to balance the often popular opposite needs of the community, all the while adapting to physical changes in Araina, including rising sea levels and shoreline erosion. As an island community, we cannot overlook how climate change is affecting our home. So last year, when the state established the Hawaii Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Initiative, the county made sure to include it in our planning process. This means that when it comes to all county plans, especially the Maui County Hazard Mitigation Plan and our community plan, all of them need to take into consideration sea level rise, vulnerability, and adaptation report. Planning for these changes means that we have to relocate infrastructure and critical facilities out of hazard areas, which means we may have to ask the council for funds to make these capital improvement decisions. If we don't, we'll have bathrooms falling in the ocean and community centers falling in the ocean like they're doing in Paia. This heightened attention on how sea level rise impacts Maui County has the potential to affect communities, culture, history, and natural resources and cannot be taken lightly. The Planning Department is working to changes to the rules of our 3 planning commissions to address sea level rise. Maui County had the first shoreline setback in the state that factored in annual shoreline erosion rates. Soon, the Planning Department will ask the Maui, Molokai, and Lanai Planning Commissions to consider amending their rules again to include sea level rise in their shoreline setback calculations, further protecting our coastal resources as well as property. In fact, 1 week ago, the Lanai Planning Commission voted to amend the special management area boundaries for the entire island to include additional coastal hazard area, making it the first island in the state to comprehensively amend all of its SMA boundaries. County planning is ever evolving, just as our communities evolve. If our population increases every year and doubles every 20 years, should we look ahead just 10 years or the next 50 or 100 years? Thankfully, we have a lot of open space, but we need to get control of the uncontrolled and unregulated development that is damaging our ecosystem, causing traffic snarls, and taxing the infrastructure that was originally designed for a rural, agricultural-based community. Maui used to be pasture land, sugarcane, and now open space is cluttered with gentlemen estates. We need to do something about this to prevent further proliferation of this pattern. Usually when large subdivisions spring up, they improve the infrastructure in the immediate vicinity, but rarely is the impact of the entire community taken into consideration. Growth in Haiku affects Paia. Growth in Kihei affects Lahaina, and so on and so forth. Again, what happens when our population doubles or triples? Our administration has been working to address some of these problems. Ironically, it seems some of the people protesting against our solutions live in these gentlemen estates I just mentioned and are part of the problem. If we can designate where growth is going to be, we can keep everything where it should be by agreement. As in the medieval days, they built a castle around the community for protection. This also had the effect of limiting what we now call sprawl by keeping the lands outside the castle walls open. This is what the Maui Island Plan growth boundaries are all about and what our community plans could achieve. I'm not saying that we should go back to a feudal system with castles and drawbridges, but we need to look at different options to control sprawl. Going vertical is one. Don't grow, expand out, grow and expand up instead. Not everyone can afford a single family 10,000 square foot lot. In fact, some of our local residents can't even afford to rent a single family home, much less a room in that home. This is not an exaggeration. We need to look at allowing greater density and a variety of housing types, including apartment, townhouses, cottages, courtyard housing, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. These allow more homes in a smaller area than a typical subdivision or gentleman estate, and are more effective use of land and infrastructure. They also preserve open space and agricultural lands. I certainly do not want all of our former cane and pineapple fields and ranch lands to become a sea of homes like the Everplains on Oahu. Our housing department says housing projects are on the horizon to fill that 13,000 home void that we will need in 10 years. If so, we will need to get ahead of those homes by putting in the pipes, roads, and water that will be necessary when the time comes to build. With sea level rising, our shoreline eroding, and population growing, our plan should reflect that reality and proactively prepare for it instead of reacting to it. The planning department is working on the first community plan updates on Maui since adaptation of the Maui Island Plan. The West Maui Community Plan update process is involving the community in a new and innovative way with an interactive and informative website that is updated after every meeting. This plan will have to address and seek to balance these major issues: housing and sea level rise, in addition to traffic, cultural, natural resources, and other concerns. We have some hardworking residents out there who work maybe 2 or 3 jobs and still can't afford to own their own homes. They're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, and still some of them are forced to live in their vehicles. These are the working homeless, and we need to do better for them, rezoning so that we can direct the right sort of housing in the right areas that will help our people out immensely. We can plan our communities better. Just take a look at what they're doing in Wailuku Town. The Wailuku Civic Complex project is a wonderful opportunity revitalizing Wailuku Town. This is a project that is generations in the making. We need parking in Wailuku. We need public gathering spaces. We need quality commercial property for small businesses. The Wailuku Civic Complex project is all of those things rolled into one and much more. This project will also totally reconstruct Vineyard Street from High Street to Market Street by providing sidewalks, storm drains, even putting the power lines underground. Mahalo to planners Aaron Wade, David Yamashita, and I especially want to thank Councilmember and Budget Chair Ricky Hokama, who really is pushing this project and has been a driving force behind it. The Maui Redevelopment Agency Chair, Carol Ball, and other Wailuku merchants also need to be thanked. My wife told me to slow down, but this is a long speech, so if I slow down, we'll be here till tomorrow morning. Department of Management. The Department of Management oversees all other departments, but also takes on projects of its own. Oftentimes, management is called upon to manage projects under other departments that might need some help moving forward. Managing Director Keith Regan and his department have had a great track record moving projects forward behind the scenes over the years. They include the following: getting the Kulamalu Affordable Housing Project up and running, helping to build and complete the Kihei Police Station, making sure that the island of Molokai did not lose its only public works base yard. And they gave me a long list that I'm not going to go through. Management's next task is to oversee the $25 million Central Maui Service Center project in the A&B Business Park. This project is ready to break ground, and once it is completed, will provide a much cheaper alternative to the rent the county is paying at the Maui Mall. So mahalo to you, Keith, and your department for taking on the project that is needed by the community. Congratulations. I'd also like to congratulate Keith and our managing director as being the only international city-county management associate credit manager in the state of Hawaii. It's an international management credit association. It's the only manager accredited by that group. And Not only is he the only manager, we are one of 19 communities that won a Certificate of Achievement in Performance Management Award for the County of Maui this past year. So the award proves outstanding management. So thank you very much, Keith. From the Mayor's Office, I am pleased to announce that there have been quite a number of beneficial initiatives coming out of the Office of Economic Developments, or OED, which is overseen by my office. You can thank OED for the following: bringing back Halloween on Front Street. This is an economic force in West Maui which brings thousands of visitors every year. Some local merchants have said this is a one night is crucial for their annual bottom line. And this year, there were no police incidences. Zero. And that's because we were able to control it. Expanding the Friday town parties. Before she was a council member, Yukili Sugimura spearheaded the first Friday town party with Wailuku First Fridays some years ago. Thank you for coming up with the concept, Yukile, and for allowing us to take that concept and to be able to spread it to other communities. The event was such an economic and social success for Wailuku Town that OED helped to launch and market 4 more town parties in Makawao, Lahaina, Kihei, and Lanai. Establishing Maui County's first premier product show, the Made in Maui County Festival. This festival reaches new heights each year and showcases locally made products from all over Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. Last year, the festival was recognized globally by the International Economic Development Council when they gave OED the 2017 Gold Award for Excellence in Economic Development. Managing the county's energy footprint. Our renewable energy coordinator, Fred Riddell, continues to make strides for the county. The county and Haleakala Solar partnered up to provide solar power for the Kaunoa Senior Center. We're working with Maui Electric to help them manage the grid through our demand response program, as well as work with developers on how low to moderate income residents see savings through renewable energy with our community-based renewable energy program. We have also completed an energy audit of the War Memorial to greatly reduce operating expenses there and are looking to expand this review to other county facilities. Revitalizing Maui's film and production industry. Over the last 2 years, Film Commissioner Tracy Bennett reported $25 million spent in Maui County for film and production. This includes 150 local crew members working last year with a mix of 52 films, reality shows, and commercials. We now need to create our own Maui film studios. You can clap for that. We really need to do that. If we're going to have an economic development project, this is one that can really help our community. Expanding agricultural parks to grow more food. We had a little more than 300 acres of ag park land. Working with A&B, we plan to add another 869 acres of land in the Kula Agricultural Park. This includes a $5 million upgrade to the water lines for irrigation purposes. With the Haiku 269 acres, the addition will bring our total ag park space to over 1,400 acres, from 300 to over 1,400 acres. That's a tremendous expansion. It pleases me to say that we have accomplished all this, and still our property taxes are among the lowest in the nation. Everyone wants government to do more with less, and as you can see, it is possible. Not only that, but we are putting taxpayer dollars to work in the financial sector very successfully. By the end of fiscal year 2018, in June, Maui County's investments will have earned $5.4 million. This is the highest rate of return in the state. That's equal to getting property taxes paid by an extra 4,000 homeowners. Mahalo to our Finance Director and Treasury Division, Jack Culp, for his hard work in getting most return for our tax dollars. Thank you, Jack. And you should know for the record that our administration, under our administration, every dollar the county spends and receives are available for review. Our records are 100% transparent. We have come a long way since the first time we stepped back in office in 2011. The projects that I have highlighted are only a sampling of the many that we have and are working on. I could have talked about the Maui bus system, which we started, our improvements to ocean safety, fire and police department equipment and coordination, the customs pre-clearing efforts that we're working in Japan and Korea, the water department's shift to microfilters, our work with invasive species, new bike paths, sidewalks. I've supported the return water to our streams, designating our surface and subsurface water for Navaeha, sedimentation and desiltation basins, and laws to mandate better water handling. All this has led to much better review and being able to make transparent a lot of the conditions that are within our community and make it a lot easier for everybody to understand what's happening. We have addressed every major disaster that has hit our beautiful county, correcting landslides, flooding, chemical spills. We've watched the sugar fields in Lahaina, Kahului, and the pineapple fields close. We've watched Lanai completely change its economy from pineapple fields to hotels. We've seen Molokai Ranch close down its operation. Each and every one of these, we've had to be able to do something with. We have negotiated and stopped the exportation of sand from our island, helped to preserve and perpetuate the arts. We saved the Huinoiao Visual Arts Center. It was sold at one time to a Texas couple, and we were able to work to get it back into the county, and Huinoiao are very successful, and they're doing a great job with that facility. And we've worked to celebrate our many cultural heritages. This administration and our dedicated workforce of 2,600 civil servants have worked side by side through the good times and the bad, the baby booms and the bust, the ups and downs. Today, we still face many challenges, like lack of housing, traffic, the need to better manage our growth. However, there is only limited money, manpower, and time. Even so, there is no better job than the mayor of Maui County, because there is no better community. I have often said that we have the best community in the world, and I truly believe it. And it is because all of you help to make it that way. I'm proud to say that we've accomplished much over the years. The county's financial situation is strong. Our AA+ bond rating is the best in the state, and is good and better than at any other time in our county's history. I'm especially pleased to have placed so much land out of the reach of developers. There was a time not so long ago that one of our main challenges and fears was lack of ocean access. Now we have under our protection more of our precious open space than any other administration before us on the west side from the Pali to Olowalu, from Olowalu to Puamana. On the North Shore, we have parks from Waihe to Ho'okipa and are looking to acquire more land all the way to Piahi. In South Maui, it is much the same. Plenty of county beach parks in Kihei with state and federal wetlands protecting much of Maalaea. That's roughly 80% of our North Shore and 80% of our South Shores protected for you to use and enjoy, and for future generations to use and enjoy. About 80%. We have some of the best and most reliable drinking water in the state. We are in the process of adjusting the water department practices and policies so that we can and need to meet the present and future needs of our growing communities. We keep on improving the system to get water where it needs to be, when it needs it, so our water service is the best quality for our residents. Regarding our wastewater, Maui County is on its way to becoming the first injection well-free county in the state. We have so many recycled water projects that really the only project that will be left over for the county to do in the future is to make it potable or drinkable. However, I'm going to let the future mayor figure out how they're going to talk the residents into drinking that water. It's going to be a tough one to swallow. Growing up here on Maui, I've been able to witness the population growth from under 35,000 to more than 165,000 people. Over the years, I've seen this community transition from becoming booming agriculture to watching every major agricultural industry, company, and farm either shrink considerably or disappear completely. In my younger years, growing up on a farm in Kula, we used to be able to look out over the ocean of cane fields and pineapple fields, a lot of pasture land, in essence, a sea of green. We used to be able to go to the ocean when no one else was there and fish to our heart's content. Today, we look at the overabundance of high-end residential housing in what was once pasture lands, like in Makawao, Haiku, and Kula. We see houses springing up in the hillsides in Wailuku, Waehu, Lahaina, and we see that what was once open space being consumed by a growing population. Things need to change, and I know we can change things together as a community. Speaking of this community, we have some important milestones to recognize. This year marks the first immigrant to Hawaii from Japan and Portugal. For the Japanese, the first wave of immigrants, a group known as the Ganemonu, left for Hawaii in 1868. There were 150 of them in that first group. And it just so happens this year marks the 150th anniversary of their arrival. So if you're of Japanese descent here today, please stand and be recognized in honor of Ganemono. For the Portuguese, their first arrival of immigrants came in 1878. So this year, they celebrate their 140th anniversary. If you're Portuguese, if you are of Portuguese descent, please stand up and be recognized for all the good sweetbread, Portuguese soup, and great conversation you've provided over the last century and a half. Audrey, that means you too. Good to see you. There is a third date to recognize. However, this group of people were not immigrating to the island. Instead, they were already here. This year is also the 125th year anniversary of the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy. In 1993, the year of the 100th anniversary of the overthrow, President Bill Clinton offered this apology resolution to the Hawaiian people. Whereas, it is proper and timely for the Congress on the occasion of impending 100th anniversary of the event to acknowledge the historic significance of the illegal overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii, to express its deep regret to the Native Hawaiian people. I call upon members of the Royal Order of Kamehameha and all Native Hawaiians in the island to stand up and be recognized. I'm also going to ask all of you to pause and bow our heads in a moment of silence. Thank you. Maui County is a success story. We've managed to grow our economy without trashing our environment or having big cities like you see on Oahu. We have all the luxuries of the modern world while still remaining or retaining our natural beauty and resources. And because of that, we are probably one of the most attractive places in the world to live. Everybody wants to live here, and they're willing to pay almost anything for paradise. Yet, that success has come with a price. There are challenges this administration and future administrations will face. How to manage success so that our residents don't suffer for it. We have many challenges, as does any community, as we are always evolving. But you should know that Maui County is well poised to be able to meet most of these challenges head on. This has been a fairly long, in-depth presentation, but this is my 12th and possibly last State of the County address, so I wanted to give all of you a clear vision of how efficiently our county is running and how we're in excellent condition. We are in a very strong financial position. We have proactive management style that is solution-oriented. We have a great community to work with, and we have an even greater desire to protect the assets and essence of what we call home. To all of you, the residents of Maui County, I say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity that allows us to fix so many of the challenges that preceded our administration. You don't have to look very far to see the level of dedication that our county employees have. This week marks the 4th anniversary of the tragic Lanai plane crash, which claimed the life of 2 of our planning employees, Tremaine Balberti and Kathleen Kern. Planners Doug Miller and Mark King were also on that plane and badly injured. But as soon as they recovered, they came back to work and have been with us ever since. They're here tonight, so please, Mark and Doug, stand and be recognized. Let's give them a warm round of applause. It's amazing. You know, they work through it, they come to work, they don't complain. I want to take this time to thank my family for bearing with me on this journey. It hasn't always been easy for you, Jody or Jan, as daughters of the mayor. Most of all, I want to thank my wife for her patience. I know I put you through this longer than you expected, and I tortured you for years, but unfortunately, we kept getting reelected, so here we are. I want to thank my brother, his family, just everybody, my immediate blood relatives. Thank you very much for all of your support over the years. And I want to thank my county family, all of the employees, all of the people in this community, for all the support you've given me through all these years. You've been really the essence of my life and my reason for being in this position and for surviving. You know, just being able to serve this community and to be able to do the things that you wanted to have done. Instead of grumbling about it, we're finally able to get a lot of it done. So my brother can't complain to me later on about not fixing his road. To the thousands of you who work every day to make Maui what it is, to all of you working to clean our oceans, grow our crops, and care for your neighbors young and old, thank you. Even the projects we couldn't complete are headed in the right direction. We know as we move down this path, we will resolve those challenges. As it stands right now, Maui County is financially stable, environmentally secure, economically resilient, and strong because we work together. This is the best community in the world, and thank you for helping us to prepare for a promising future for ourselves and for generations to come. Because without all of us working together, this would never have been possible. Aloha, good night. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Alan Arakawa. If you could please remain standing, and would the Arakawa family please join us here on the stage. Mayor, thank you again. Thank you for your amazing leadership and your foresight. We are truly, truly fortunate. Yes, Wally, that is you as well. Karen, please join us. Yeah, and Shayna, where are you, Shayna? Please. If we can, please join hands and sing Hawaii Aloha. E Hawaii e ku one hanau e ku home kula iwine oli noa ina pono lani o e Hawaii aloha e haoli na opio Hawaii Holi Maina ahe ahe makani e pamaine Mau ke aloha Hawaii E haoli na opio Hawaii Holi Maina ahe ahe makani e pamaine Mau ke aloha Hawaii Mau ke aloha Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for coming out tonight. Please drive home safely. Mahalo and aloha.